So the gist, I've been wanting to watch The Walking Dead for a long time, and now I finally have. But before we start, I'll go ahead and give you my opinion now.
It's alright, like,
It was perfect.
But yeah, this show starts off crazy. In the opening scene, the first thing Red does is dome a little zombie girl who a minute ago reached down and picked up a toy or something, which made Red believe she was still alive. And I'm already confused because I did not know zombies was moving like this in this show. See, I'm more used to zombies in video games and they don't do stuff like that, or evolve. Overall though, I did like how much more fluent the zombies were in this show. After starting his kill streak, we go back in time a little to meet Rick's best friend before the fall, Shane. Now, one of the best things about my personal watch through The Walking Dead was that I came into it without any spoilers. Except for, yeah, RP bro. Yeah, so Shane was a character I never heard about. He's supposed to be Rick's competitor for leader or whatnot. It's more than that, but I might cover it later. In the flashback though, Rick and Shane battle rap while having lunch, and Shane, oh, you don't believe me? Bro, watch the show. Interrupted, they get a phone call from the police station that there are 2 suspects on the run for GTA, so of course, they head out. But like, why do we have to go too? Isn't there already other cops on the way? When Rick and Shane show up, there are already other cops there, so like, what's the point? What if someone else breaks into a car and we lag behind them response time because we don't set everybody to this one incident? Plus, Shane was just about to start another freestyle on Rick and, oh, you still don't believe me? Bro, watch the show. After a month, Rick awakens from his coma and we get the first sign that something has went wrong while Rick was out. The hospital, you know, the place that never closes, has intercoms, calls, endless foot traffic. That place is silent as hell. But he finds his way out and slowly makes his way down a dark fire exit lit by a match. Now this is where I was a little goofy. What do you think could happen while Rick is slowly making his way down this dark fire exit? A zombie jump scare. I'm already knowing the call. I'm waiting on it, preparing on it, but nah. But before we move on, I do want to say I really liked how they did this scene, setting the attention for the obvious, but you know, letting it fall for something else. Because when Rick finally finds his way out, we get the third and worst sign that something has went wrong while Rick was out. Well, what's the second one? I'm hearing you ask. The hospital grounds, and everything that's surrounding it is in chaos. Bodies and destruction everywhere. Honestly, this is where I would have checked out, but Rick prevails and keeps going until he finds a bike that he can use to ride home on. Why didn't he give her right then and there? Let me introduce you to Rick's family. Lori, his wife, and Carl, his son. He's fighting to go home to see Slash, make sure they're safe, but of course, when he gets home, they aren't there. However, their bodies also aren't there, so that combined with the fact that some pictures are missing makes Rick believe that they're still alive, which they are, but he doesn't know that right now. But with him not being able to confirm their safety, with the fact that it's chaotic as hell outside, Rick crumbles over and cries, defeated for the moment. After he calms down a little, he goes to sit outside. And can you imagine how Rick feels right now? He got shot on a job and passed out. This has to be somewhat common given his line of work. But when Rick gets shot and passes out, he awakens to the world being literally flipped on his head. Honestly though, with the current events, I was expecting a little more of this from Rick, but he does as his family to keep his head intact. While sitting outside though, Rick notices a zombie coming down the street towards him. In this show, they call the zombies walkers, but yeah, that's not happening. But before Rick can even realize that the man coming down the street is a zombie, Rick gets. And here's where I made another goofy mistake. Hear me out. You see this kid right here? I thought this was Rick's son. Hold on. I thought that for 3 reasons. 1, after being hit, Rick calls out his missing son's name, Carl. Because I came into the show without any spoilers, I didn't even know what Carl looked like. So I'm thinking this is a bitter family reunion. Reason 2, since I came into this show blind, remember Rick is looking for his son and we're right outside his house and it's the most obvious place for them to reunite. But nah, it's not his son. The guy who the kid was actually calling out to comes up and presses Rick about the bandages he has on, but before Rick can even respond, he passes out again. After being out for a whole month, he's back in the... When he reawakens though, we're introduced to the father-son duo, Dwayne, the kid that resets Rick's kill counter, and Morgan. I am very well aware that Morgan is a loved character in the community, but we're not going to see Morgan for a while after this episode. But trust me, before he leaves, he's going to do something so crazy, bro. I don't know how people overlook this. Good riddance. But with Rick awake, Morgan gets Rick caught up on everything that's been happening while he was in a coma. After a while though, they hear a car alarm going off down the street and they peep out the window till the zombies gathering around the car that's making all the noise. So you might think, oh, this is lit. All the zombies in hiding and the ones around will be drawn to this car going out, so we don't have to worry about them coming our way, right? No. So a zombie woman literally ignores the noise being made right behind her to come up to the door where Rick, Dwayne, and Morgan are hiding. And I don't know, this had me confused because the zombies in this show are noise bosses. And I mean noise bosses. Any amount of noise gets them drawn to whatever area. And I'm talking about any amount of noise. At some point in season 2, Carl is going to shoot precisely one bullet. And I swear to God, it drew the attention of thousands of zombies. One bullet, and don't say, oh my God, car guns are louder than car alarms, yada yada. No, that's not accurate here. The car that's going off isn't 4, 5, 6 blocks away. It's right behind her. She should be sprinting to that car. Eventually though, the zombie woman gets to the door and tries to unlock it. Just watch. Yeah, you saw that right. This zombie woman literally attempted to open the door. And this is what I mean when I say they abandoned zombies having more personality in the later seasons, because now I haven't watched the later seasons, but this is what I've heard. They don't really do stuff like this specifically with personality traits coming back to the house where they died at and stuff like that. And yes, this zombie woman died at this house because this isn't some random zombie. This is Morgan's wife and Dwayne's mother. She died in this same house that they're staying at. Like, they gotta get the hell out of here. The realization is crazy. The woman eventually goes away and they stay low for the night. The next morning though, Rick takes them to the police station where he used to work at to scavenge the remaining guns, and I don't really know how that's still here, so I'm going to skip over that. As a bonus though, they all got to take a shower with actually hot water, and I'm thinking a hot shower in the zombie apocalypse has to be worth more than guns. It gotta be. After, they split the remaining guns and ammo that they find and head back to their cars. They have a short conversation and develop a backup plan, and after, Rick is set to leave to find his family, and Morgan is going to stay behind to teach Dwayne to shoot? What? Honest to God, this might be the dumbest thing Morgan has said so far. I don't know what he's talking about. This is literally the dumbest thing. They aren't in the woods, or better yet, an open field to practice shooting and be relatively aware of their surroundings. They're in a town full of zombies. You just seen it. So you're telling me they're going to practice shooting in this zombie riddled town where every bullet can draw the attention of tens of zombies who will remain undetected until the very last second? Of course not though. Morgan isn't going to practice shooting, or the practice shooting isn't the primary objective for why they're staying behind. His actual reason for staying behind is to kill his zombie wife. Yeah, the one we saw earlier. Honestly, we saw him planning this back in the police station. The moment Rick gave him that sniper, bro, in his head. And the reason for this dangerous excursion he's planning is so he can give her a peace, or so she doesn't suffer anymore. And I say that with quotations is because I get it. He just wants his wife to be at peace. But the way he goes about setting her free it left me dumbfounded. Anyway though, Rick takes out to Atlanta and Morgan heads back to where they were staying the night before. And once they get inside, Morgan starts reinforcing the door. Interesting. Once he's done though, he starts looking at old family photos upstairs and reminiscing. You already know what's about to happen. Now, at this point, I was still rocking with Morgan. I had no problem with Morgan. I knew he was kind of like not all there in the head, but come on, like nothing so far has a warrant for hate. He hasn't done anything. But then he proceeds to set up the sniper he got from Rick earlier and just start blasting broad daylight in a town where they were just hiding from zombies last night from one car alarm. His whole plan is to draw his zombie wife back to the house so he can shoot her. Whatnot. Is stupid as hell. Like, I don't even care at this point. And this whole time, Dwayne is downstairs, spooked by the sudden shooting. And of course, he starts yelling upstairs to his dad, "What are you doing? What's going on?" Dwayne was just sitting down, organizing the stuff they got from the police station when he just started shooting. But right here specifically is where I officially started hating Morgan. He is frightening his own son and wasting tons of ammo for no real reason. And the only things he yells back down to Dwayne is to simply cover his ears. I can't believe this. He is actively right now putting both of their lives in danger for this. What good is the rest he's going to give his wife if both of the people she most likely cared about more than anybody else in the world dies with her? It doesn't make sense. And when I say shooting, I mean it. Morgan doesn't just shoot once, twice. He shot over and over and over again to lure her back to this house, alerting all the zombies in the neighborhood. He knows it's crawling with them and what he himself and his son has been hiding from. But he finally gets his wish after alerting the entirety of Georgia, putting both of their lives in danger and terrifying his own son. His zombie wife shows back up. You know, I'm willing to let everything go right now if Morgan can just shoot her, move on, put her to rest, and we done with this Madman arc. But no, he doesn't shoot her because he doesn't have the heart. Yes, and this has all been for nothing. Nothing gained, only losses. Spoiler alert, Morgan and Dwayne won't show back up until season 3 and oh, my bad. Morgan doesn't show back up until season 3. And you want to know why just Morgan? Do you want to know why just Morgan? Because at some point during season 1, episode 1, in season 3, Dwayne gets cooked. And do you want to know what zombie plays chef for the day? That's right. So everything Morgan did since separated from Rick led to the death of his son. I don't care what he does in season 4, 5, 6, or whenever he comes back. While that was happening though, Rick is still on the road traveling to Atlanta to hopefully find Lori and Carl at a shelter that was being broadcast as a safe haven at the start of the outbreak. Thinking ahead though, Rick uses the radio in the police car he took while he still can to broadcast a message of where he is going and why he is going there. And this is where we finally get the confirmation that Rick's family is still alive and they're close by actually, because the group they're in picked up the signal put out by Rick, or more actually pieces of the signal, because they could only hear where Rick was going, not who he is and why he's going there. And they lost the signal immediately after. So only Lori's groups know Rick is nearby, but they don't know it's Rick yet though. But after surviving everything through at him thus far, Rick finally arrives in Atlanta and we get the scene. But this is a show. You know how this goes. Things go terrible for Rick immediately upon entering the city. Another semi-spoiler alert. Another thing I picked up on while watching The Walking Dead, even though I only watched the season 3, is that Rick isn't stupid. Rick notices you know what I'm saying? Rick notices the obvious. He may not say the obvious, but he notices it. He just kind of keep it in his mind, keep it in his back pocket. I'm sure Rick already knows something has happened in Atlanta because, I mean, look at the traffic. Because the direction of the traffic leaving Atlanta is a serious thing to not pick up on, but he pushes on. When Rick finally gets inside the city, it's empty, but not really. It's overran with zombies, but they hiding right now, and Rick doesn't notice them just yet. He slowly makes his way through the dead city, and out of nowhere, Rick starts tweaking out. I'm looking like, what the hell? Rick starts tweaking out, looking every which way, because in the distance, he hears a helicopter, and after spotting it, he immediately takes off on the horse he found after running out of gas. Now, I assume he's simply going to follow it the best he can, assuming the people in the helicopter knows the community where it's safe to land in. That can be a new safe haven for a family to be at. But forget everything I just said, because immediately, not even 10 seconds into following this helicopter, Rick takes a turn and runs into a horde of literally thousands of zombies. Why the hell are all this? Hold on. Why are they all packed up like this? Like, what's going on? Like, I thought zombies roam around, and see, it's stuff like this which makes the zombies in the show particularly unpredictable. You got thousands of zombies and not a single one is moving After being spotted by the horde though, Rick takes off in the opposite direction obviously, only to meet another horde of thousands of zombies, and the horse gets cooked immediately. But Rick tries to fight back a little, but he is being overpowered by the millisecond. He is surrounded by literally thousands of zombies right now. No safe haven. Honestly, I was thinking we might have to switch characters because how the hell do you survive this? But he rolls under a tank and the zombies right behind him. Out of options though. Rick was 1 second away from being behind the horse, but he notices the hatch is open in the tank he is under. He crawls inside of it and closes it. Now he may be momentarily safe from the zombies because they're not going to get inside the tank, but he's still trapped. Who knows how long it'll take for the zombies to clear out? But with the Wither sitting grouped up, who knows how long? As far as I can tell, he doesn't have much or any provisions. He's in a real bad situation and he knows it. And every time he pops his head out to check, the zombies just come right back. So Rick is in a real dire situation until someone calls out to Rick on the radio that he's in. And you already know who this is. But this is where the episode ends. I might cover more later. Who knows?